art journalist, this is Natalie from NK Design. Yesterday, a friend, my daughter and I went to Melbourne to see The Sleeping Beauty performed by the Australian Ballet. Let me tell you, it was absolutely amazing, absolutely mind-blowing. The costumes, the colors, the stage, the dancing, the performance, it was just absolutely fantastic. So this is where my inspiration comes from today. I am starting with Derwent inktense blocks in a magenta pink, a green and a blue to create a nice background. With my favorite colored pencils, Polychromos by Faber-Castell, I start sketching in a face. Yes, it is colored pencil, not grey lead pencil. It's a trick that Jane Davenport has taught me. Even though you can't erase it, you can always use any color paint or something to go over it, or gesso to cover it up. And you will notice later on that you won't see the lines at all. I divide the face in half and then half again and half again to determine where the eyes, nose and mouth go. The position of the ear is not quite right. I didn't want to cut it out so that you can see that yes, I do make mistakes, but I can cover it up with some paint later on. I only roughly sketch in the facial features because I will be putting on a layer of paint. However, you will see the layers shining through so that I can go ahead with colored pencils and bring the features forward again. Now I'm roughly sketching in the hairline as well as a hairband. And now I'm sketching in some hair flowing in the wind. The acrylic paints I'm using are by Ceramcoat. They dry matte and you can go over it with any kind of colored pencil or pens. The first two color tones that I mix for the shadow are called burnt umber and bamboo. And then I go over it with the tone that's called flesh tone. And to put some highlights in, I add magnolia white. Oh no, it's called oyster white. For the face, I am using very thin layers of flesh tone. So I have only a little bit of paint on my brush, and it's quite wet brush. And I distribute it all over the face, and if it's too thin I just go over it again with another layer. Then I'm adding some highlights with the oyster white. Covering in the ear now with the flesh tone, I start a little bit higher to fix the mistake that I made earlier, and then I create a little bit of depth with the burnt umber. It doesn't need to be too exact because most of the ear will be covered by hair later on. Now I'm using a color called coral to color in the lips, and again adding some details to the face. And that is basically all I use the acrylic paint for. With the white Posca marker, I fill in the white of the eyes. To define the face features, I'm using Polychromos pencils. I'm not using any black because I think that's a little bit too harsh, so the color I'm using here is a dark sepia tone. I'm slowly building layers to add depth. For the eyes, I'm using a variety of greens, some dark greens and some light greens. The outer lines is a dark green. The pupils is dark sepia. And yes, I know the eyes at the moment look a little bit freaky, but hang on, just give me a little bit and you will see that they turn out quite beautiful. Now I'm adding some shading with a warm grey. And here I am adding some flesh tones to the outer corners of the eye to make them more 3D. Defining the features even more with a variety of flesh tone colors and dark sepia. With the white Posca pen, I add some highlights to the lip, and then I'm using the dark sepia to add some eyelashes as well as eyebrows. Again, with the white Posca pen, I'm adding some highlights to the eyelids as well as the sparkles to the eye, and a little bit to the nose and the forehead. I think that's it for now. I have this beautiful serviette with roses. I removed the upper layer because that's the only one you will need, and cut out some of the roses that I will adhere with matte medium, Liquitext matte medium. With the blue and green inktense blocks, I am adding in the headband, and I also give her something to wear, just a little strap that is visible. Moving on to the hair, I'm now using a light brown, which I will activate with water and then go over it again with a darker brown. Adding more depth to the hair by using some acrylic paint. I think this is called bamboo, as well as the colored pencil sepia pen, and then later on I'm also using white Posca marker to add some highlights. I find the headband needs some more definition, so I do that with the help of Polychromos pencils. I'm adding the title with the Pigma MB brush pen by Sakura. feel the page is finished, so the last touch is the date stamp. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I see you next time. Until then, happy arting!